Recording.
Got it.
Okay. Hello, YouTubers. This is Singh, and today I'll be interviewing Strictly Sealed. Strictly Sealed. Nice to meet you.
How's it going, man?
Nothing much. How about you?
Everything's good here.
Okay. So today I'm going to give you 9 questions. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. First question. When did you first start becoming a card game tuber?
I started like I did a couple of videos in 2020, but I started uploading more frequently in 2021. I don't have a lot of videos, maybe like 20 or 25. So I'm still working on regulating my schedule so that I put out more content more regularly.
Okay. Um, Question 2. What made you interested in becoming a card game tuber?
Um, well, my type of content is more information based, and I was just looking around for a a channel that has information on the card game for if people want to take it more serious and they really want to put some serious money in, you gotta have some resources that show you basically just how like the information on. It's kind of like I was looking for something like, how in the stock market you will see that you have like the information on the company and stuff like that, and people choose to invest in it or not. I feel like that's lacking in Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not taken as serious, even though there's a lot of money in this hobby. Like there's a lot of money from collectors, from investors that are pumping money all the time. So it's like I feel like there has to be some sort of resource for information on the card game and like the small nuances that come with everything. So in Pokemon, there's something called E4. There's also like, SM Pratt, TCA Gaming. And I just looked on Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's really nothing like that. So I figured I would just do it myself. And I started making informational videos on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Question 3. Do you have a favorite card game?
Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't really play card games at all, to be honest with you, other than poker. But I don't really play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore either. Like I haven't played in years, but I would definitely say that Yu-Gi-Oh is my favorite card game.
Okay. Question 4. Do you enjoy doing pools and pool battles from booster boxes?
Um, I mean, I don't really do that stuff because it's just not stuff that I watch. I don't really spend a lot of time watching like openings or anything like that. So for me, I kind of like to put out content that I would watch, and I know that I'm in the minority. So uh I don't really do them myself. I used to open quite a bit. Like before I became strictly sealed, I was actually strictly graded. And I opened like a lot of product in 2016, 2017, but I'm kind of worn out now. Like I don't really need to open anymore. My high has already been satisfied, if that makes sense. So I don't really do them. All power to the people that do, and I totally respect it. It's just not something that I personally enjoy.
Uh, okay. Question 5. Do you play digital card games such as Duel Links, Master Duel, or other games such as Pokemon and Magic?
Uh, Not really. I don't play. I barely play video games. I mean, I play League, League of Legends, but that's pretty much it. I'm not a big gamer, if that makes sense. So I haven't. I've never really played games often at all. So that includes card games.
Okay. Um, Question 6. When you sell Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster boxes, packs, individual cards, and archetypes, do you follow the TCG Player or other resources?
So I don't really use TCG Player at all. I actually don't like the way that their search method even works. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I like eBay's search method, so I price everything off of eBay. I never price off of TCG.
Okay. Question 7. Looking at what is happening right now, do you feel like the card games are going to be complicated, or it will be hard to buy cards from card games?
Complicated how? As in like too expensive or what? What do you mean by complicated?
Expensive, and there's like these people who will buy the products and then sell it at a higher price.
Okay. So for newer product, not really, no. I think newer product you're gonna start to see as time goes on, prices become a lot more affordable because uh like they're not gonna be as hyped. Right now there's a big boom because of we had massive inflation in 2020. So there's a lot of money in circulation, and because of that, you're gonna see, people are willing to take on more risk and buy more risky products, and do all of that. I think as interest rates rise and as everything tapers off, you're going to see a lot more uh, conservative purchases. So people will not be taking these big risks on modern stuff, and I think product will become a lot more available. As for vintage, vintage is different because vintage is more of an investment and less of a quick flip. So that one I mean, for me, I try to buy as much of it as possible because I really believe in it. I like the product. So for me, whenever I have the chance to purchase a case or something like that, as you guys saw on my YouTube channel, I try to buy the whole thing because I mean, though these things just don't really ever pop up. And if I have the opportunity, I might as well take it. So I think vintage and modern are two different ball games because modern is more of somebody just trying to make a quick dollar, while vintage, you're basically actually supporting the hobby by absorbing the vintage supply that's out there, and keeping uh the trust in vintage product to be reliable, if that makes sense. And it's not just people who are just trying to make a quick buck. And I actually really like the stuff that I'm buying, so yeah. I do think that it'll become more difficult for vintage as more and more people get into the hobby and start collecting it. In modern, I don't think it'll be difficult. I think you'll be able to get the price that you want even below retail, like how it was back in like 2017, 2018. Like back then, if a booster box was released for $70, in 3 months you'll probably be able to get it for like $50. So I think that's what will happen as inflation slowly tries to dry up and we start getting some deflation.
Okay. Question 8. What is the difference between card shops and individuals who sell both Yu-Gi-Oh products and individual cards? Are they both using TCG Player or something else?
So for me, I actually got asked like, how come you don't open a shop? Because I have enough inventory for it. The reason I don't is because I don't like the overhead. To me, I like to be more competitive with my pricing. Like if I'm selling stuff that is, I mean, for rare stuff, obviously you have to ask a premium because that stuff never comes back. But for the more common stuff, I try to be as competitive as possible. And in order to do that, I can't have employees that I have to pay. I can't have rent that I have to pay. So the difference between a shop and a non-shop is the shop provides employment to employees, and because of this they have to charge more. That's why you'll always see that stores always have a higher price than regular people than online stores, because online stores, it's mostly people who have an extra room in their house and they put product there and they're able to sell at the cheapest price possible because they paid as little as possible to get that product, while a store, they have to pay a lot more because they have $2,000-3,000 in rent every single month. they have $2,000-3,000 in the employees every single month. So that's an extra cost that's added on. And these shops, they make the hobby grow, right? Like they're the ones who bring in new customers, new players into the game, because most people are not going to try online. However, I think as time goes on, as more people shift to the online world, I think that the shops are going to become more and more obsolete. And it's unfortunate because, again, I'm a lover of the physical, but I think that it's just inevitable. I think the internet is just way too destructive.
Yikes. Okay. Last question. Question 9. Will there be any way to change the card games, like the rules and format of the game?
So I was talking about this in one of my lives. So I was like, so how come League of Legends is able to survive a lot better than Yu-Gi-Oh can? Because the main reason is because Yu-Gi-Oh is printed in the physical form, and because it's printed in the physical form, what's going to happen is, if you print a Blue Eyes card, you can't just rework that Blue Eyes card and re-release it. Now you can have erratas and stuff like that, but the card in essence has to be a strong card in order for you to errata it. You can't just, have a vanilla LOB Blue Eyes and all of a sudden just re-release it as LOB Blue Eyes with an effect. So in video games, you're able to, kind of control power creep a lot better, because you're able to kind of re-release the champion completely or re-release the character completely. In Yu-Gi-Oh, you can't do that. So because of this, like the card games have a really hard time with power creep. This is something that is the main reason that a lot of people get away from these card games, is because the power creep gets to be too much. And basically every single set you have to buy more and more and more, and you can't play with the same cards because again, the company needs to put out more product, obviously, right? They need to get paid, they need to get paid, right? But they also, so in that way they have to be able to release newer cards. So it's very difficult to kind of balance the power creep versus creating revenue for the company. So sorry, could you repeat your question again? I just went off, I don't know if I went off on a complete tangent.
Will there be any way to change the card games, like the rules?
Yeah. So no, I do not think that you'll be able to change too much. What you can do is basically create time capsules for certain times. So like, for example, GOAT format, Edison format, etc. For Yu-Gi-Oh, you can have that encapsulated in a certain time. And I think if Konami is smart, what they will do is they will capitalize on these times and kind of create booster packs for GOAT format, create a booster pack for Edison format. And yeah, I think that is one way to really kind of change the game, but not really change it. Well, you're able to monetize the hobby, but also not change the game, because you can't just unwrite a card that they put out, right? Like if they released Ash Blossom, you're not going to be able to just pull out Ash Blossom from the card pool unless they ban it, obviously. And that's usually how they fix the mistakes. But again, money is sunk into that. It really drives people away. Like imagine, for example, you just bought 3 Ash Blossoms, spent $200, and then they just ban it right away. It's like, it's very disheartening. So I think what they can do in order to really control the power creep is just, create these time capsule formats and have people play that. And then they keep releasing a master format, like the one that is the regular one that people who are really passionate, who are really competitive, they can keep playing. So yeah, I think that's the only change that they can really do.
Wow. Yeah. That's
Sorry,
crazy.
am I rambling too much? Sorry.
No, it's not. No, from the example you just said, I mean, dang, like the ban list and everything. The no, okay, you know what? I mean, man, it's crazy then. I'm just gonna say it's crazy of how Konami is doing. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry. It's the ban list is basically how to fix mistakes. Because look, you have to think of it like this. There is no way that 100 or 1,000 people working at Konami can think up of every combination like how the millions of people who are playing Yu-Gi-Oh can do, right? Like when you have millions of minds looking into these cards and trying to create combinations. Konami maybe has 1,000 people at best in their R&D team. So, you know, when you have 1,000 people, it's not going to be able to compete with millions of minds trying to fix the problem, right? And because of that, it's they have to be able to fix their mistakes through other ways, and that is the ban list, right? Like they create a product. I'm sure in their R&D team, they're like, oh, this is a great product. It's not overkill or whatever. They probably did it with like Chaos Emperor Dragon, right? and then the millions of people who got their hands on the card, they're like, wait, you could use it this way and this way and this way. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we messed up. We better fix this. And they ban the card. So that's kind of it's kind of a product of just the nature of the game itself, right? Like unless they have everybody designing cards, it's impossible to really control the different combinations that people can come up with, because people are very creative. Like if you allow them to be, they're very, very creative. So they always find a way to use certain cards in certain ways. Like think about it like this, GOAT format is still getting new metas even to this day, right? Like GOAT format is 2005. Even to this day, 15 years later, 16 years later, it is still getting new metas. People are still figuring out new combinations. You know what I mean? You just have to give them time.
Okay. I guess. Wow. I guess that's all the questions I have answered. I've asked you. Is there anything you want your viewers to? Anything you want to say to your viewers?
Yeah, thank you guys for always like tuning into my lives, watching my videos, you know, liking my posts on Instagram, purchasing from my store. It really means a lot. Thank you very, very much. Honestly, I'm more than flattered. I I don't know what I'm doing that makes you guys want to support me the way that you do, but I mean, I really do appreciate it, and it does mean a lot. So thank you very much. And if you want to find me, you can look up Strictly Sealed on YouTube, on Instagram. That's where I'll be for most of the time. And if you want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on strictlysealedinc@gmail.com. So yeah, thank you for having me. And these are wonderful questions. And yeah, thank you very, very much, man.
No problem. So, hey guys, make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel and his Instagram. I will put them in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching. So, Strictly Sealed, I'm gonna stop recording. Is that okay?
Take care, guys. Peace.